All right, all right, all right. Let's talk about project file structure. Okay, that's a really bad Matthew McConaughey. So I added this video after I've done the entire none to done because I was finding some people were running into some file structure problems. Specifically, how are you organized your folders and all the things associated with building a golf course? There's going to be a lot of stuff you have to organize here, right? You're going to have Unity files, you have Inkscape files, Blender files, LiDAR files, all kinds of stuff. So how are you going to organize that stuff? So some tips here. First of all, you're going to want to create a separate folder for your project, actually your projects. You should create a folder that all your golf course is going to be. Hopefully you do your first one, you think this is the best thing since sliced bread, and you want to do more. So I'm going to show you the best way to kind of organize that. And then I want you to keep everything in that folder. If you have a picture of the golf course, put it in that folder. Make a folder called photos, right? Everything. I keep everything related to a specific golf course in the file for that. And I'm going to show you how to set up these folders, okay? I recommend a root OPCD project folder. I'll show you that. I'll show you what I mean. I'll also show you what I mean by root. By putting it in the root of your hard drive, you're going to avoid some excessively long path errors that you might get in some tools like RAM. You know, I know you don't know what that is, and you shouldn't know what that is now, but later on you will. And if you get this error, it's because you didn't follow my advice. Um, and another thing is, do not install your project folders that I'm going to talk about here in any privileged places. No, I don't mean like, in your wife's brawl. I mean, don't put these like in your program files folder. That is a privileged place. It has special rights, and you might not have your programs might not have rights to read the things and something in that folder. So you want to create a separate folder for this. So what do I mean by that? So let me bring over my file explorer here. And if you want to open up yours and follow along, that's fine. So if we go into, and yours might look different if it's Windows 11, but ultimately you have to find your hard drives. Okay, and this PC has two hard drives. I've got my C drive, which is really, I try to keep that for my Windows operating system and maybe a few programs. And then my D drive is really what I use to build and store all my courses. And you'll see here on my D drive that I have a bunch of stuff in here. And I'm actually going to show you, because most of you might only have a C drive. It's okay to put stuff in your C drive. But if you have a separate D drive, I recommend what I'm doing right now for you guys to put it on your D drive. So let me go back up here. Let me go into my C drive. And so here are all the root folders. Remember I used that term earlier? So you see I'm in the root of my C drive. And you can see in here, I have my program files here. I don't want to put any of my projects in anything you see here. I want to create a new folder. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to do new folder, and I'm going to call this my OPCD projects. Now, I'm calling it that because if I want to build another golf course later on, then I can put it in here. All right. So I'm just going to open this up. And now you can see this is empty. I don't have anything in here. I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to say new folder. And let's say that I am working on the Hershey Country Club. That's going to be my course. I'm going to call this Hershey CC. I like to avoid spaces in these things. It's probably going to be okay if you don't, but there are sometimes programs that have problems with spaces and file names and folder names. So I would avoid them. If you really like spaces, then do like an underscore CC. Now you have a project folder. Now, later on in this course, when you get to the LiDAR section and I have you download a bunch of files from the share, the Google Drive share to put in here, I want you to put them in here underneath your Hershey, in my case, Hershey Country Club, or whatever course you're building. I want you to put them in here. When I tell you to download the Unity files for your Unity part of this, download them and put them in here. If you get a photo of your course, put it in here. Maybe you can create another folder called photos. When I create, we are going to have another folder called your OPCD Blender files. Put them in here. Everything, put them in here. If you don't, did you listen? Did you hear what I said? Put them in here, okay? Do not put them in program files. Do not put them in perf logs. Do not put them in anything else, okay? Put them in your OPCD projects, and then the name of the course you just put them all in here. So just to show you guys what I've done, and this is a little bit more advanced, but if I go into this data drive here, I put my things in a OneDrive. What this does for me is it backs everything up automatically. You got to be very careful about using this. I don't recommend if you're a beginning builder to do this right away. You have to understand how Unity locks files and when you can back up and when you can't. But now you can see my structure here is I have my OPCD projects here. And then in here, you can see all the courses that I worked on. So I have my, I'm working on the old course, a redone of the old course. So I have an old course file. I have my Kapalua, so all my Kapalua files are in here. I have different versions of Kapalua that I'm working on. Here's the one I'm actively working on right now, which is Hershey Country Club. I got my photos in here. I got my splash screen that I'm going to be using for Greenkeeper. I got the buildings that I'm making. Everything is in there. So you can see how this is organized. I got some other things that I'm working on, some older projects. I keep a lot of stuff in here that's related to the golf course building, okay? Other stuff in here, you see, this is just some backup stuff if I want to move stuff off my hard drive. Not really important, it's a little bit more advanced. But I do recommend, there's some videos later on about backing up your project. Nothing worse than putting in a lot of work and your hard drive crashes. So either get it off onto a separate hard drive or back it up to the cloud. There's lots of different ways you can do that. A little bit too much for this video, okay? Onward.